Hello everybody, Randy Atkins here, back for some more Shadowbringers MSQ. We are starting 5.5 today. I'm really excited to get Shadowbringers wrapped up. The story has been getting so good. I'm, like I said, really excited. So let's go ahead and get started. So we will go ahead and get in game, and here we go. So we're going to talk to, well, let's talk to Alfino first.
In the face of this new draconic threat, we would indeed benefit from Estinian's presence. Yet I cannot help but wonder how Kryl and Tataru intend to locate him. They certainly seemed confident, however.
Unto the breach. Alize is waiting patiently for the return of certain scions, not least of all you.
Good news, Rando. Thancred and Urianger have finished their tour of Garlemald and are on their way back here even as we speak. As we still haven't heard anything from the towers from the Alliance, I'm hoping they might be able to shed some light on things. They're due to arrive any moment now, so let's see what they have to say, eh?
Ah, a welcoming party. You needn't have gone to the trouble. From what I hear, you've been more than busy enough as it is.
Honestly, you might have waited for me to return before discovering a cure for tempering. As it is, I can't even pretend to have been involved.
How very Thancred of you.
Well, if it's any consolation, I myself was little more than a spectator. The lion's share of the credit must go to Alize, Graha and Rando, but I believe I speak for the rest of us when I say we are proud to have rendered what little assistance we could. As you will also have heard, though, it hasn't all been tales of triumph. Just as we were taking a step towards finally addressing the primal threat, a pile of fresh problems landed in our lap. Anyway, it's good to have you back, though I can't help noticing that we're one Urianger short of a scouting party. You haven't lost him, have you?
Oh, I couldn't lose him if I tried. And I did try, repeatedly. But no, he decided to linger in Alamigo to apprise Raubon and the others of how the land lies in Garlemald.
Then mayhap you would do the same for us.
Indeed, it was just as Lee said. Worse, in fact. Devastation as far as the eye could see. Nerva and the Third, however, were notable by their absence.
Might they have met their end at the hands of Xenos and Fandaniel?
Perhaps, or perhaps they simply lost the will to fight. You see, the capital has been plunged into a deathly silence, with one exception, the Imperial Palace. It was a busy place before the war, but it has grown busier still with throngs of soldiers and civilians working their day and night to rebuild, or rather, transform it.
Transform it? Into what?
That is a difficult question to answer. The construction is vast and unsettling to behold, like something from a nightmare. According to Urianger, certain aspects of its design were clearly devised with the manipulation of ether in mind. Magitech, in other words. Yet as unnerving as said edifice was, it was nothing next to the sight of its builders. They swarmed the place like so many insects, working with nary a word exchanged between them. No one overseeing the construction, no one barking orders. It was as if they were possessed, or tempered. We wanted to investigate more closely, but given our suspicions, it seemed wiser not to take the risk.
If Fandaniel could bind Bahamut to his will, might he not have done the same to the people of Garlemald? Whatever the truth may be, this information is certain to prove valuable. You have our thanks. We'll be sure to save some for Urianger. Which reminds me, I have a message from Alamigo. Rabon is hosting a meeting to discuss the latest findings on the towers, and he requested our presence. Then why not leave that to us? You must be weary from your mission. No, I'm fine. Those towers have been on my mind since I first spied one on the way back, and I'm keen to get to the bottom of this. In that case, I shall stay and begin looking into another matter, as I promised Kryle. We need not all attend. Very well. I suggest the rest of us make our way to Alamigo forthwith. The sooner we leave, the more time we will have to speak with Urianger before the meeting. If you are curious to know what I will be doing in your absence, let us speak of it another time. At present, Kryle and I have no more than a hypothesis. Okay. I'm sure you'll tell us soon. Yeah, I guess I needn't have done that. 'Cause, yeah. Well, we're still gonna cheap it out. So we're gonna go here. And we're gonna fly around the corner over here. So that we're in the same main zone as where we needed to go. And then we're gonna teleport to Camp Tranquil, I believe. No, it's the Hawthorne Hut. It's East Shroud. It's the Hawthorne Hut. Oh, I forgot I was still mounted. And then it's right down over here. I can go to Castrum Oriens. And from here, actually, I can teleport to Alamegan Quarter. Well, we may safely assume that the Telophorol are behind the works being carried out on the Imperial Palace. The Telophoroi, I guess, are behind the works being carried out on the Imperial Palace. We can only guess at their purpose. The Royal Menagerie is still closed to civilians. Van Daniel and his pets certainly left their mark. I wonder if there have been any developments regarding the Amal Jah abductions. It can be no mere coincidence that the incidents began occurring just as the towers first appeared. True. Although I was only Although I was only in Revenant's Toll a short while, I did manage to squeeze in a brief drink with Flamine. Spring water only, it being a flying visit. Okay. My friends, much and more have I heard of your travails in our absence. Heartened am I to see you all hale and whole. As we are to see you safely returned from your mission, Urianger, I trust Thancred made you feel welcome. Who is this? Well, well, if it isn't Alfino and his merry band. Yay! I love him. Arenvold, whatever are you doing here? When we spoke via Link Pearl, you told me you'd be away on a mission. And who's to say this isn't part of it? But enough about that. It's good to see you looking so similar. I thought you'd have grown up. I thought you'd have grown a bit taller after a whole year in another world, but apparently not. Well, I'm sorry to disappoint you. While my soul may be a year older, my body has hardly aged. As you are well aware. And may I remind you that we Elazin are known to be late bloomers, especially in terms of our height. Mark my words, the day will come when even a great aurochs such as yourself will crane your neck to meet my eye. I love Alfino's unofficial brothers. And I love Arenvald. Aye. 'Tis not until my 20th summer that I myself outgrew my boyish proportions, though Moonbreeder towered over me nonetheless. Arenvald brings out the best in Alfino, doesn't he? They both seem so at ease in each other's company. It's almost endearing. So, what exactly brings you here? Oh, Fordola mostly. We need to go over a few things before we set out. Set out? Does this have something to do with the towers? Eh? What gave you that impression? Actually, tell me later. You've got a meeting to go to. I'll see you afterwards, alright? I don't remember what his accent is. If Fordola is going with him, that must mean... My apologies. As Arenvald rightly pointed out, we have a meeting to attend. Let us be about it.
Ere we begin, I would like to offer my gratitude to Masters Thancred and Urianger. 'Tis no small feat to infiltrate the Imperial capital, and live to tell the tale, much less in times of civil war. Thanks to them, we may plot our course in full knowledge of how the winds blow in Garlemald.
Full glad are we to have been of service. But verily, such dangers as we did encounter pale into insignificance next to those faced by our comrades. An Ascian, armed with the might of Bahamut, bent on bringing about the final days.
Theatrix. He sought only to make a show of the power at the Teleforoi's disposal. But since then we have seen no sign of this Daniel or his worm. And while we've done what we can to bolster our defenses, there's no telling where he might strike next.
Whenever and wherever it may be, we must use the intervening time to learn more of our enemy. 'Twas with this in mind that we dispatched scouts to investigate the towers.
Our advance party took longer than expected to return. And when they did, they tried to kill us. Luckily, I'd seen that sort of thing before, and we were able to restrain them before they did any harm. Then it was just a matter of letting the Porksies do their work.
Are you saying they were tempered?
Once they'd come back to their senses, they told us everything they could. It seems that just as they were getting close to the tower, they heard an ear-splitting roar. And that was the last thing they remembered. But what worries me most is what they were saying right before they attacked. Glory be to Garlemald.
The Tempered have heretofore ever been thralls to primal entities. Yet these hapless souls were compelled to accept a nation as the object of their devotion. This calleth into question all that we know of the condition.
Would that the unsettling news ended there. Alas, there is more. Following the earlier reports of missing Amalja, we have learnt that other beast tribes have suffered similar losses. And we now have reason to believe that the abductions are connected to the appearance of the towers. Our scouts sighted black-garbed figures leading shackled Ixal in the direction of the tower in Dravania. The Temple Knights were able to intercept them before they could reach their destination, liberating the Ixal and apprehending their captors, each of whom was found to be equipped with Garlean arms and armor.
So the Empire is the common thread.
With the support of Xenos, it seems likely that Daniel has rallied a faction of the splintered Garlean army to the banner of the Telophoroi.
Lord Hien reached the same conclusion when I shared our findings with Doma. The plan had been to march on Garlemald from the east and west in order to force a peace treaty. But the situation has changed. Dealing with the threat of the towers must come first. Given the nature of the enemy and the proven risk of tempering, I could think of few suitable candidates to aid in this task. But I am confident in my choice.
What?
Resistant to primal influence as they are, they can investigate the towers without fear of being turned.
So can I. Oh, it's okay.
We're glad to
Fordola.
put our gifts to use, Commander.
I just want to give Fordola a hug and tell her it's going to be okay.
Gifted or not, going behind enemy lines remains a perilous undertaking. But we must know more if we're to strike back at our foe. I'm counting on you.
They better not kill Ehrenwald. I will be very angry.
If it would give us the upper hand, I'd do it 100 times over. We won't let you down.
That concludes the briefing. You two, make ready and join your escort.
Are you certain about this, Arenvold?
The way that they're making Alphino, Alphino meeting with them, and Alphino being concerned makes me feel like he's gonna die.
I am. Come on, let's talk outside.
If it's small talk you're after, look elsewhere. I accept that numbers can provide a hindrance when infiltrating enemy territory, but to send only 2... Now that it's out in the open, I don't have to keep it under my proverbial hat anymore.
So you know, I've already gone through all the formalities at the Rising Stones. Made sure to inform Jamolva and Vmar at Ralga's Reach as well.
Arenvold, I admire your enthusiasm, but this is far more dangerous than anything you have done before.
I know the risks. And I also know what's in store if we don't stop Fandaniel from carrying out his plan. With this power of mine, I can make a difference. If I stood idly by, I would regret it for the rest of my life.
And you, Fudola? Is this what you want?
What are you asking me for? It's not like I have any say in the matter.
Of course you
don't pretend. We both know Commander Eldin gave you a chance to refuse. And you didn't.
So the Empire's finished, is it? But that's what they're all saying. That the great and glorious Garlemald slit its own throat.
I feel so bad for her that she's so convinced that everyone is so against her that she is just resigned to not even trying to, I don't know, have a relationship with anybody.
And now, from out of its twitching carcass crawls the Telophoroi with bloody Xenos at its head! I fought for Garlemald. Killed for Garlemald. What was I a part of? I need to know. Whatever it is, I need to know.
Very well. If your hearts are set on this, I shall not stand in your way.
If you've finished with your touching display of camaraderie, I have a question. Which tower are you planning to investigate, exactly?
Well, the one in Girabani is said to be tightly guarded. It's patrol after patrol out there, apparently. We'd be spotted before we got anywhere near it. Which is why we've set our sights on the one in Pagalthan instead. There shouldn't be anything like as many Imperials to worry about down there.
Even so, I doubt the local Amalja will look kindly on it if they catch you sneaking around in their territory.
Fordola and I had a chance to learn the lie of the land in our previous forays there. We might still find trouble, but at least we won't lose our way. Well, we'd best not keep them waiting any longer.
Mayhap when all of this is over, we could take another trip to Loxeld. I would have you know I've become a rather capable swimmer since our last visit.
Have you?
Ha! I'll believe that when I see it. Though, to be fair, getting into deep water does seem to be a scion's lot in life. Take care, Ray. It means a lot, you know. You coming with me.
I'll still owe you for saving my skin, don't I? Can't return the favour if I'm not there.
I dare say you'll get your chance before long. That Fandaniel sounds like a tricky customer. Too much for the likes of me, anyway. But we both know I'd just be another soldier if it weren't for my gift. And I need to be a damn sight more than that given what's coming. I realise I can't hold a candle to a hero like the Warrior of Light or Alphino, for that matter. He might look like he's 12, but he's seen more action than most people see in a lifetime. No, the fact is I'm nothing like them, and maybe I never will be. But I'll be damned if I don't try.
This is all shaping up toward him dying, and I don't like that.
They're counting on me. On us. So let's give it our all.
He does not want for conviction, that much is certain. So let us have faith in him. Him and Fordola both. While they see to the towers, I would attend to another task. Chasing down this lunar Bahamut.
Ah, bloody thing. Can you hear me? It's Tataru. Ah, I'm happy to say we've managed to find Estinian. And I'm sorry to say he went running off again the moment we told him about Bahamut.
That sounds right.
But he did mutter something about heading to Ishgard, so if you're quick, you might still be able to catch him.
Even if we set out this instant, he may already have left by the time we arrive. Have her send the Bonanza to Ishgard. It may prove useful should we need to give chase.
Gladly. I'll see to it as soon as Kryl and I get back to the Rising Stones. Good luck.
While you go off on your dragoon hunt, Urianger and I will return to headquarters. We have much to tell the others.
I wish you every success in your search for our elusive friend. May we all meet again ere long.
I get the impression Arenvald is a lot more apprehensive than he lets on. He will have been grateful Alfina was there to see him off. Estinian Wormblood, the Azure Dragoon. His was another name that featured prominently in the history books, and it will be fascinating to meet the man in the flesh.
Pizza?
So Estinian was bound for Ishgard. Whatever it is that brings him home, we must hope it will keep him there long enough for us to find him. Come, there is no time to lose.
Okay, to Ishgard then. Mordona's 200. Almost 200 from here. I think it's like 170 from Limsa, and then I can just fly up. I'm very cheap. Like, I have a bunch of money, but I'm very cheap when it comes to transportation expenses. Because, yeah, Mordona from here... Oh, it's 141. Even better. I usually go over the mountains right there. Yeah, I didn't take my allergy medicine today. I've been really bad about that recently. So that's part of the reason why I'm so, like, cough-y. God, Ishgard looks tiny from over here. I love the Ishgard music so much. And I also love that basically almost every song in all of Heavensward has a leitmotif of this in it somewhere. It's so good. Who are you? Anyway. Oh, I bet Graha's losing his mind at this gigantic, very tall city. Assuming we find him, this will be my first encounter with the famous Estinian. And if he's half the man Alfino claims, I fully expect to go weak at the knees. Perhaps do a bit of fainting while I'm at it. Always give an Alfino crap. I've only visited Ishgard once before, after the devastation of the 8th Umbral Calamity. To see the place in all its in all its original glory, is a tantalizing prospect indeed. Okay, Alfie, what you got? All present? Good. Let's split up and search for Estinian. Since we're relatively new to this place, Graha and I will look around the open spaces, the squares and markets and whatnot. You and Rando can delve into the nooks and crannies. Very well. Let us reconvene at the airship landing later, with or without Estinian. Good luck. I think I shall begin at the Skysail Manufactory, so perhaps you could try the congregation. Lucia may well have heard news of our friend's return. True. So that is just outside the Forgotten Night. Good day to you, Warrior of Light. Lord Emmerich sent word that you would be attending the meeting with Alamigo, so I gather you have not come in search of him. To what then do we owe the pleasure of your visit? I see. No, we were not aware Sir Estinian had returned to Ishgard, but as I expect you remember, he is wont to come and go as he pleases. Mayhap he came seeking an audience with Lord Emmerich, only to find him absent? In any event, I am afraid I cannot help you. Perhaps one of your companions has fared better. Dang it, Lucia. So then... we're going to the Aethanarium Astrologicum. Are we out on? Yeah. Oh, here's Alice E. Not to be confused with Alice A. Sir Estinian is every bit as elusive as Urianger suggested. God, I love that the airship that
No sign of
Tataru
him.
made is pink.
Not that I've ever met him before, but the way Alphino goes on about him, I'm fairly sure I could pick him out in a crowd.
Speaking of which, it does seem awfully quiet. If the erstwhile Azure Dragoon had returned to Ishgard, would it not be a source of general excitement?
First
Here
the Scion's
comes the
Coinkeeper, and now
boy.
you. I'm beginning to think these meetings are more than mere coincidence.
Hello, boy. Welcome.
Not that I'm complaining. It's been too long.
Once again, we have the joke of people thinking that Alize is Alphino.
Too long.
You look an ilm taller and twice as rugged. It suits you, Alphino.
Twice as rugged, huh?
Quieter, though. Have you been giving him lessons on how to be the strong, silent type?
She is angry. Oh.
I am not Alphino! If the two of you are such firm friends, perhaps you should remember what he looks like. And what do you mean, rugged?
I love it. She's so angry.
Oh, had my brother mentioned what an oaf you are, I'd never have bothered looking for you in the first place.
Estinian Wormblood, the Azure Dragoon. He who fought and felled the dread worm Nidhogg at the Warrior of Light's side. To think the day would come when I should see this living legend with my own eyes.
Oh, God.
Would someone mind explaining what is going on?
He's like, dude, what? This is great.
Is everything all right? I thought I heard Alize shouting. Estinian! It's been too long.
She's still pissed off.
No, it's quite understandable. That was hardly the first time we've been confused for one another. Nor, I suspect, will it be the last.
Well, I, for one, will not be making that mistake again. What I will say, for the second time today, is that you've grown. Inside and out. I can tell.
One can't remain a spoiled little lordling forever, you know.
At least someone's having a good time.
Oh, poor Alize.
You know, when we were growing up, Alphino would never befriend other boys because he couldn't stand the thought of not being in charge. But maybe that's changed. He seems just as happy around Estinian as he does Arenvald.
I mean, I think he learned how to talk with people rather than at them.
I wouldn't be so sure. He still loves nothing better than the sound of his own voice.
No rest for the righteous, eh? Speaking of which, I was just on my way to borrow an airship to take me to Azis La.
Azis La? How could I forget? The dragon with whom Bahamut shared the deepest of bonds.
Aye, Tiamat, his mate. Even now she remains imprisoned on Azis La, though her remorse binds her faster than any shackle.
I see. As the one who first summoned Bahamut, you believe she may be able to shine some light on his latest incarnation.
Might I suggest that we make the journey to Azisla together? I'm not sure if Tataru mentioned this, but we Scions have an airship of our own now.
I see no reason why not. Assuming your sister can bear the thought of sharing a deck with me.
Be my guest. But confuse me with Alphino again and I'll throw you overboard. Ugh! I don't know who he thinks he is, but he's nothing like Alphino painted him to be.
I will admit, he is not exactly as I imagined him either. Based on what I had read of the man, I think I was expecting someone a little less blunt?
Like, well, that's him. That was a great cutscene. 10 out of 10. Would watch again. Oh, just boom, Azisla. Who's... Oh, that's another player. I'm like, who is this man? Okay, so let's talk to our friends before we take off. Not to complain, but I didn't expect to find myself here again quite so soon. So this is the Delta Quadrant, where countless dragons yet lie imprisoned. The great Tiamat among them. Tiamat summoned Bahamut once before. She may have again, willfully or no. Interesting. It has been quite some time since I last set foot in Azisla, but I understand the three of you were here rather more recently. I don't suppose you chanced to meet with Tiamat during your visit? Alas not. We had no cause to set foot here in the Delta Quadrant, but I have studied the relevant records, which is to say, I wouldn't appreciate a first-hand account of your dealings with her. Well then, Rando is the person to ask. As far as I know, he's the only one of us to have met Tiamat face to face. Even now, she remains a prisoner of the Alagon Empire. Ever since the end of the war with Mericidia, yes? To have been held captive for so long. I too have met with Tiamat. After the Dragonsong War came to a close, I came here to speak with her, a worm who had fought her own war against man in another age. I wished to know if she yet harbored thoughts of vengeance, and asked as much. She said no. My hatred for your kind was extinguished long ago. But the guilt she feels for resurrecting Bahamut burns on undimmed. It torments her even now. I see. Then your original reason for coming was out of concern that Tiamat had been forced to summon Bahamut. Nidhogg is a part of me. I feel his emotions as my own, and I know that he would not allow his sister to be made a tool of evil. In his absence, it falls to me to watch over her. God, Destiny, why are you such a good guy? Our grandfather sacrificed everything to protect the realm from Bahamut. We must be prepared to do the same. The Azure Dragoons of history were the mortal enemies of the dragons, yet now they would be hard-pressed to find a soul who understood them better.
It's true.
It was the Ascians who taught Tiamat the secrets of summoning, even as they supplied the Allagons with the means to capture primals. So much suffering, all of it by design.
Righteous indignation. How far are we on this? I've still got my... this is the third quest out of 6 for 5.5. And then there are 3 in 5.55. Justinian is ready to lead the way to Tiamat.
Tiamat awaits. This way. So this is one of the 7 great worms. Even thus confined, her presence is overwhelming. Resigned to her fate though she may be, I cannot help but feel that we may be able to help Tiamat. Would she only let us? To think that man is responsible for all this, and so much else that dragonkind has suffered. Oh, Tiamat.
Edgin Enfin Wafes Kles Non In.
My sire's mortal companion, what bringeth thee back to this forsaken place, child of man?
It's plain she knows naught of recent events. Perhaps you should enlighten her.
Ah, that my sins should be repeated. I sensed not the faintest stirring. As to who could have called him forth, I know of none save the dragons of Mericidia, our children. The icon claimed their souls when first he manifested, and robbed of their will, they became tools for the Allagan's dark designs.
I've seen it with my own eyes. Captives of a lost empire, neither alive nor dead, existing only to preserve Bahamut's corporeal form.
Yeah, in the coils.
Es Taidra Mera
Yes, the dragons of Mericidia are at the mercy of this Ascian. There can be no other explanation.
Ash and I die by now.
Accursed Ascians, vile minions of darkness.
Ten es an est in. Est I an kin antun. U es I. Ines. Tu in. I now.
Again you would profane the memory of my beloved, and strip our children of their freedom, their dignity. Are there no depths to which you would not stoop?
Your children's pain means nothing to them. They laugh at your kind suffering. But tears will not right this wrong, nor will lamentation see the perpetrators punished.
Snosk anta in Dramon.
What wouldst thou have of me, from me, slayer of dragons?
Behavior befitting a great worm. We came here to ask mighty Tiamat of the First Brood, consort of Bahamut, mother of the dragons of Mericidia, what she intends to do about the crimes committed against her children.
Santalan infan antosk. Kous lent on.
Were I free, I would answer thine insolence with fire, but words shall have to suffice.
Ale o esk an in. Ale kum ak in.
Recall, mortals, that it was I who did first summon my beloved, praying with all my being to bring him forth. You who contend with icons cannot well be ignorant of the consequence.
You too were exposed to his influence. That you are yet in possession of your own will is testament to the indomitable strength of your soul. But were you to meet with Bahamut again, you fear you might succumb.
Es snoska dramon kin nestra in illes I nesh an ala.
Indeed, ask the Dragon Slayer, and he will tell thee the power we of the First Brood wield. Were I to lose myself to the Icon's influence, all would pay the price.
Unnamik nalstra ul antal an small tahi an.
But it is of little matter, for even had I the strength to resist, I yet lack the strength to break my shackles. This prison shall be my tomb. Well, I bet one Grahatia could get you out of that. Actually,
on the matter of Bahamut's influence, at least, I believe we can be of some assistance. If you're afraid of being enthralled, don't be. We have a cure. And while we've never tried it on one such as you, its basic principles are universal.
Speakest thou in earnest?
There is no future for those bound to the past. That you committed a terrible sin, I do not dispute. But if you feel remorse, you may yet make amends. We offer you that chance. Take it, or you will forever remain a prisoner, not of these cruel shackles, but of your own guilt.
Sahaan, Setso, Kin Bahamut, and
A chance to make amends, to lay Bahamut's memory to rest.
An Sumon, Na An Ingles, Snaloles Dish An, Na Ala An Ul An Sin An, Stan In.
When our own star faced annihilation, Hydaelyn granted us sanctuary, and now your foes would bring about her destruction. This I cannot allow, for the debt I owe to Hydaelyn, and to all who have suffered for my sins, I shall fight with you, children of man. Nice. It won't make up for what she suffered at the hands of men, but if there's a chance we can free her, truly free her, we owe it to her to try. Hard agree. I confess my heart was in my throat when Estinian thought to berate her, but it appears to have had the desired effect. It would seem she still has some pride left after all. Let's see if she's as good as her word. While Porxies have been shown to be effective in curing the tempered, Tiamat must be considered a special case. She is far, far larger and immeasurably more powerful than any subject we treated thus far. Were we to remove her restraints only to find that the process had failed, we would be hard-pressed to contain her. Then, before going ahead, we should learn as much as we can about the exact nature of her condition. Do you suppose we can find that information here? Why, yes, we can. We can indeed. The Allegans kept detailed records on all of their notable captives, and I know exactly where to look. We shall leave that to you, then. In the meantime, the rest of us can turn our thoughts to the removal of those shackles. I know Alphino and Rando here well enough, but not you. Are you certain you're ready to see this through? Rest assured, Serestinian. I am both ready and willing to give my all for the sake of this star, though that is not my reason for wanting to set Tiamat free. While I do not claim to know all of her sorrows, I too once found myself in a prison of despair, and I well understand how hard it can be to dare to dream of escape. It took the encouragement of braver souls than I am to make me take the first step towards a brighter future. And now I would help Tiamat do the same. I gather you're not as young as you look. Mayhap when our work here is done, we could trade tales over a pot of Tataru's famous tea.
Oh, Estinian, you're great. I love it. And be indebted to her for the leaves in hot water? I think not.
I see. Returning swiftly to the task at hand, then. I believe the nodes governing Tiamat's restraints are located in the sector known as the flagship. Ah, yes. We are familiar with it. The Etherochemical Research Facility in particular. Oh, you may wish to take this. A spirit vessel containing a small amount of my blood. Which you just happen to be carrying around with you. I suppose that could seem rather odd. To explain, Rambrose Urianger and I are researching the use of spirit vessels and the transference not only of memories, but the traits of certain bloodlines. And so I keep one at the ready should the opportunity to test our theories arise. As for its use to you, you may recall that during our previous visit, the nodes here granted access to restricted functions, having identified me as being of royal blood. And armed with that spirit vessel, I posit that they will do the same for you. Even in the absence of, well, the rest of me. It seemed worth a try at least. Agreed. We will take good care of it. To the flagship, then.
Alright, so let's talk to these two.
It's possible the restraints may have mitigated the effects of her tempering, but Tiamat has been enthralled to Bahamut for thousands of years. To have clung onto her reason through it all says a lot for her strength of will. More than a lot. Alize and I shall remain here and attend to the necessary preparations. In the event that the spirit vessel fails to work as expected, you know where to find me. Good luck.
All right. In here. Oh. I would rather leave these elegant contraptions to you and Alphino.
Let us split up and search the flagship for the node that controls Tiamat's restraints. But should you find a likely candidate, do not be tempted to make any adjustments. It would not do to accidentally release some manner of experimental monstrosity, nor less Tiamat herself in her current state. Our objective at this stage is to simply identify the relevant node, or nodes. Once we have learned what we can, we should reconvene and compare notes prior to proceeding.
Okay. A malodorous node? Malodorous nodorous? Bzz. Friction between metallic components detected. Temperature increasing to critical levels. Please replace damaged parts or retreat to a safe distance. Bzz. Obstreperous? Data link with Delta Quadrant broken. Possible cause, intruder interference. Advised deployment of automated combat units. Proceed? No. And a clamorous node. Bleep bloop. Warning. Scheduled dragon restraint maintenance due in negative 2020 years. Failure to verify system integrity may result in unscheduled specimen release. This sounds promising. Speaking of dragons, speaking of turtles, infernal things. One of them sent a swarm of mechanical Vilekin to plague me. Must have angered it. I'm afraid Estinian and I have had little to show for our efforts. Did you find anything? A node which smelled like burned hair? Yes, a chirruping node which spontaneously warned me about neglecting the dragon restraints. Spontaneously, you say? Well, that does sound promising. Almost suspiciously so, in fact. But then you were in possession of the spirit vessel. I dare say it is indeed the node of which Graha spoke. And it was chirruping, you say? Very well, let us take a closer look. How did the Alagans tell these gods-forsaken things apart? As I suspected, the node will not acknowledge my authority to issue it instructions. Bloop. Do you wish to operate the dragon restraint mechanisms? Bloop, bloop. You do not have the requisite access privileges. Operation of the dragon restraint mechanisms may only be undertaken by the chief technologist and members of the royal family. Or those with a vessel full of royal blood, perhaps. Bloop. New user detected. Commencing biometric authentication. Bloop. Authentication complete. User identified as member of the royal family. Please state your name. Renda Murasaki. Bloop. Welcome, Randa Murasaki. You may operate the dragon restraint mechanisms when ready. Bloop, bloop. Error. Unable to disengage restraints from the specimen. Tiamat. A system update is required. A system update? What do you suppose it's asking of us?
Who would hazard a guess? Well, that's more than I can say. Confounded bloody thing. User agitation detected. Initiating guidance program. Bloop. In order to operate the restraint mechanism, I require access to the central control system. However, I am unable to establish a link to said system due to the obsolescence of my own software. The issue can be resolved by applying a system update using the corresponding terminal located within the flagship. So can this thing release the restraints or not? It can, but only once it's received the requisite system update, as far as I can tell. Until which time it'll float there spewing nonsense. User dissatisfaction detected. Initiating placation protocols. I am here to help. Rest assured that I will be on hand to guide you through every step of the system update process. How gratifying. But I dare say we will fare better with guidance than without it. Okay. I don't know what possessed the Allagans to surround themselves with these chattering orbs, but the fact that they remain while the creators do not speaks volumes. Sid and his colleagues always make operating these Allagan devices seem so easy. For vengeance. The restrainment node stands poised to lend a hand, figuratively speaking. Bloop. Guiding user to terminal. This way, please. There we go. Don't look at me. This task is for you and Alphino. The terminal appears to be similar to the one we encountered when we first set foot here. Let us hope it will be equally helpful. Bloop. Access granted to user Randa Murasaki and his adolescent Ellison companion. Master Murasaki's other companion is deemed a potential risk to safe operation and has been denied access privileges until further notice. Poor Estinian. Let's see. According to the terminal, the central control system is presently employing software version 56.135. Dare I ask what version you are employing? Why, software version 42.002, of course. Bleep, bloop. Warning, errors detected in the data management system. Estimated time for update, 5 years, 1 day. That is rather longer than we were hoping. Aren't there any other options? For instance, using this terminal to operate Tiamat's restraints instead? Bloop. The proposed method is indeed an option. Please be warned, however, that the procedure may have changed as a result of the system update, and my instructions may no longer be accurate. I can't imagine it will have changed that much. As long as we pay due attention to any discrepancies, I dare say we shall be able to muddle our way through. Don't bother trying to explain. Just tell me if we've made any progress. I would say so, yes. However, it does, however, require that I remain here to operate the terminal. I shall inform you via link pearl once I am ready to release the shackles. It might be best if you left the spirit vessel with me. I may yet have use for it. Rest assured, I will be certain to return it to Grahatia once this is over. Just a little more work and Tiamat will be free. But before we go any further, there is something I would know. When Tiamat and her kin fought against the Alagon Empire, both sides were but dancing to the tune of the Ascians. And it was the same in Ishgard, where they stoked the fires of conflict between man and dragon from the shadows. All that the Ascians touch turns to ash, and thus have you made it your mission to fight them. But there have been times when you tried to reach out to them instead, to find common ground. And so I must ask, what do you intend to do with Fandaniel? Will you try and reach out to him too? This is more accurate to my thoughts. Enemy or no, I want to understand him. But did he not tell you that he was beyond reason? If he wishes to die, I say we oblige him. But perhaps that's the difference between you and me. You see the good in people, even if it be but the faintest glimmer. I only hope you do not come to rue your benevolence. You think us unwise for viewing the world thus? Far from it. That has ever been your way, as I learned when we journeyed together with Iceheart. Yet the fact remains that there are some who view compassion as a weakness to be exploited, and there may come a time when you extend the hand of friendship only to wish that you had dealt the killing blow. So, save your mercy for those who deserve it. Well, we should be getting back to our task. If Alphinaud has things in hand here, I suggest we rejoin the others. Bloop, bloop. Warning. Releasing dragon restraints may result in specimen loss, damage to facilities, and incineration of staff. I could not deny the logic in Justinian's argument. Given all that is at stake, even the slightest lapse in judgment could be the undoing of us all. All right, back to Tiamat. If this Fandaniel truly is without reason or creed, he is no better than a rabid dog. Treat with him if you must, but be ready to do what is necessary. So the spirit vessel proved useful after all. Excellent. Hello, Angelo. Excuse me. Estinian told me all as well, but nothing more. Honestly, it's like getting blood out of a stone with him. I take it from Alphino's absence that he's needed elsewhere. Yeah, the note said it was going to take 5 years to upgrade, so... Well, that all sounds rather frustrating. But if you got there in the end... While you were off talking to nodes, Graha and I were learning as much as we could about Tiamat's condition. Our readings confirmed that her ethereal balance leans strongly towards the umbral, as was the case with the kobolds. Therefore, all other things being equal, the treatment should work. The difficulty lies in the sheer quantity of ether with which we must contend. Multiple applications of the treatment will inevitably be required if we are to reverse the effects of the tempering completely. Meaning I'll need all the ether I can get. Thank you in advance. Although this endeavor will ask much of us, we do have one reason to be optimistic. Namely that Tiamat shows no signs of fanatical devotion, suggesting a mild case of tempering than that suffered by the kobolds. That Tiamat saw Bahamut as an equal rather than a god. Might that have made a difference? Now that you mention it, it very well might. She would not have believed it necessary to defer to his will. But enough talk. It's time to put our theories to the proof. Tell Alphino to disengage the restraint's ethereal dampers. I'm counting on you, Angelo. Ah, such warmth. The frost that shroudeth my soul doth begin to thaw. But what are these? Visions of days long forgotten, of war with the men of Alag. Wherefore do such baleful memories return to me now? Could it be that the process of restoring her soul to its pre-tempered state is awakening ancient memories? Or might the opposite be true? If so, by helping her to recall the past, we may be able to speed her recovery. Rando, she trusts you. Speak to her. Ask her to tell you of times past. Tell me of Bahamut and the Asians. Ah, Bahamut, my beloved. Would that the peace we found in Mericidia could have lasted for eternity, but alas, it was not to be. The Asians saw to that. In all creation I know of none more wicked. It was at their behest that the men of Alag first came unto Mericidia, unto our home. The tale began when Bahamut and I left our father's side. We took wing in search of a place to make our eyrie. Beyond the southern ocean, we discovered a lush and fertile land. It would come to be known as Mericidia by the children of men, though many years were to pass before they crossed the seas. Upon our arrival, we were welcomed by the peaceful people of the forest, kin to the trees. Surrounded by nature's bounty, Bahamut and I found a place to raise our young. Fascinating. This correlates with the writings of the Sharlayan scholar Rurusha. She posits that man first settled on the southern continent towards the end of the Second Astral Era. Correctly, it would appear. If only she were with us to hear the tale from Tiamat herself. Again, Angelo. When the first children of man arrived on our shores, no foot did they set in those places over which we held dominion. Such was their fear of dragonkind. And as they kept their distance, so did we let them be. Yet as the days went by, ship after ship appeared upon the horizon, bearing ever more of their brethren, who divided the vast land amongst themselves. For a time they knew peace and prosperity, but as their numbers grew, the smaller their share came to seem, and soon they began to covet the territory of their fellows. Ere long, man fought man, blood was answered with blood, and none could see an end to this strife, until one day they came to us. Recognizing our wisdom, they entreated us to intercede in their conflicts. Bahamut agreed, and with him presiding over the affairs of men, the land knew peace once more. Alas, those golden days of harmony too were fated to end, for the men of Alag slew my beloved, and I, in my rage and sorrow, heeded the envenomed words of the Ascians. The rest thou knowest only too well. But your tale doesn't have to end there. When you are free, we'll rid the world of the Ascians together, and you and your beloved will have justice. Fine sentiments, but you're almost spent. I'll keep watch from above. If the treatment fails, run. Thanks for the vote of confidence. I swear, when this is over... Keep going, Alizé. The magic is working. Slowly but surely, the magic is working, aided no doubt by the memories you bade her share. While I know this wasn't going to be easy, no patient could have prepared me for treating a great worm, but we're close, I can feel it, and while I've only got a few more drops of ether left to give, with yours and Graha's, this will work. Then I believe I speak for both of us when I say you may take as much as you require. Careful, I might hold you to that. All right, here I go.
No! I'm almost there!
This is it, Angelo!
Es lies an, mich es tai.
Yes, I feel it. The icon's grip groweth weak.
Did it work?
We won't know for certain until the shackles are removed.
Tiamat.
Task in Santal Ankin in way.
Answer me this, children of man. Can my kindred be saved in like manner?
Many have been subjected to the Allagan's dark arts, their flesh irrevocably altered. For such tortured souls, I fear there can be no salvation.
Ankin.
My children.
Slosk an ol fol kail an. Slosk se som in an.
Is it weird that I want to hug Tiamat? I just want to give her a big hug. My children, should you hearken unto my call, we shall fly together once more. But should you not, I shall grant you peace.
Afaten. Mon. One ein. Lis a an. Do old an.
Better to die than live as a tool of evil. You too would wish this, I know, and I shall do as I must.
When that time comes, you won't be alone. We'll stand by you.
She's in an enemy.
Thou hast my gratitude, little one.
Alphino's ready. It's time. Do it. And let's hope the treatment worked as it should.
Bahamut an
Bahamut, my beloved.
Ul jas. Ul asa. Fesk an.
For vengeance and atonement, I rise.
By the gods!
Urianger, your timing could not be better. Understood, we're on our way. It's Bahamut. He's been sighted over Pagalthan. He flies for the largest Amalja settlement in the region, at the head of a vast host, including dragons.
Did you hear all that, Alphino? You'd best rejoin your comrades. I'll make my own way. Our enemy awaits. Shall we?
I'll be fine. Plenty of time to recover on the airship. While I'm sure you're desperate to join Estinian and Tiamat in battle, 'twould be wiser to gather the full strength of the Scions first. The foe we face demands no less. Okay. The paladin who cried wolf. The flames of war. With Luna Bahamut bound for Pagalthan, Grahatia is determined to call upon the aid of your fellow Scions. I've already sent word to the others. We are to rendezvous in Uldar at the Hall of Flames. Let us collect Alphino and be on our way. I'm glad Tiamat's free. Oh. That was a heck of a lore teleport. Good lord. Gosh, everyone's here. If you're worried about me, don't be. I got some rest during the flight, and now I feel ready for anything. I don't know what that accent was, besides bad. First the spate of abductions, and now an attack on the Amaljar homeland. What could the Telophoroi aim to achieve with all this? As I'm sure you recall, Ehrenwald and Fordolo were bound for Pagalthan. I pray they have not come to any harm. By happy coincidence, Kryle and I were in the process of concluding our inquiries when the news reached us of Luna Bahamut's return. There is much to discuss, but it will have to wait. Of the foe we face, we know but little. Though time be of the essence, we must not stint in our preparations, lest our haste fly to the aid of the Amaljar. What? Okay, lest our haste to fly to the aid of the Amaljar cost us our best chance of victory. Lots of little words and my brain was not parsing them. Now I know some of you could do with the rest, but I'm sorry to say the Telophoroi have other plans. Pagalthan is already under siege. Happily, the Immortal Flames arrived just in time to join the defensive effort, with Marshal Tarupin at their head. Well now, given the failure of peace negotiations, I was uncertain how the Sultanate would respond. 'Tis good to hear that Uldar has not abandoned the Amaljar. Abandon them? Did we not profess to be their friends? Oh my god! Papa Shan in his little paladin armor. Your Grace! Marshal Tarupin had made provisions for such an exigency, and was ready to depart at a moment's notice. All that was required was the agreement of the syndicate, each of whom voted in favor of intervention. Nor is Uldar alone in its resolve. The other Alliance nations have likewise dispatched their troops to Pagalthan. Yet even with our combined strength, we shall be sorely tested, for we face not only the might of an Imperial Legion, but Luna Bahamut and his draconic horde besides. Tiamat's children. Fight as we may, victory is by no means assured. But not all of the omens are grim. I keep going back to ARR Nanimo voice. But not all of the omens are grim. Our forces report that despite their proximity to Luna Bahamut, none of the Amaljar show any signs of tempering. Strange. What primal would turn down a chance to claim new thralls? Unless it is incapable of doing so, primals are not wont to serve a master. Ascian or otherwise, it may well be that Luna Bahamut differs in some fundamental matter from those we have previously encountered. If that were true, anyone could fight him, and Rando and others like him wouldn't have to shoulder the burden alone. Be that as it may, Luna Bahamut remains an incalculably powerful foe whom our soldiers will struggle to best through mere force of arms. With the aid of the Scions, however, I believe they will fare rather better, assuming, that is, you are ready to take the field. An airship awaits to bear you to the front. Pray set forth as soon as you are able. Papa Shan in his little paladin armor. I, meanwhile, shall continue to coordinate our forces. Till next we meet, may the 12 bless and keep you. It was kind of her to speak with us personally. You may be certain she has no shortage of other responsibilities. Well, I for one am inclined to do as her grace requests. Lest we forget, Erenwald and Foldola are in Pagalthan on reconnaissance. The sooner we save the day, the better their chances. Indeed. To the airship, then. It's a little anticlimactic with the Christmas presents in the background. But let's see, we are on the Flames of War. Yeah, so this is 2, 3, 4, the 5th quest, and we are going to be going to Pagalthan, and then there's one quest after this for 5.5. And then there are 3 quests in 5.55, and then that's the end of Shadowbringers. So we're getting close.
Okay, the underside is always red. It just looks like it's blinking because I can't really see the underside. Is it the airship landing? Yeah. Oh no, that's not where. No, it is. Oh look, it's Rowu. Carolina Ravassa. Interesting. I mean, I don't know whether that's... I don't think that's probably actually Carolina Ravassa, but it's an interesting name to encounter. Okay, so we are going to the airship landing. Oh look, it's everybody. We'll go right down the line here. Lest thou wonder, I have attended to Thancred's ammunition and completed mine own preparations. I trust thou canst say the same of thine. Try as I might, I cannot fathom why the Telophoroi would move to attack the Amaljar. If Fandaniel's objective is death and destruction, one of the city-states would surely have been a better target. No, they have some other agenda, one encompassing the recent abductions, perhaps. Do you think Estinian and Tiamat have already reached Pagalthan? But I should know better than to speculate on the whereabouts of the Azure Dragoon. Forgive me. I mean, truth. It is not impossible that the Telophoroi redirected some of the troops stationed at the tower to the front line. If so, this may all turn out to have been to... Sorry. It is not impossible that the Telophoroi have redirected some of the troops stationed at the tower to the front line. If so, this may all turn out to have been to Erenvold and Fordola's benefit. Given what we know, or perhaps even all... Given what we know, some, or perhaps even all, of the Imperial soldiers may have been tempered. If we can subdue them, we should be able to do something about that. And they would still see us as enemies even then. That said, they wouldn't be deaf to reason, which is better than nothing. So the Telophoroi have constructed buildings capable of tempering, and primals which are not. What secrets are they hiding? Greetings. We've been expecting you. But say the word and we shall depart for Pagalthan at once. Oh, look at all the choices I have. I mean, I don't have a melee fighter at all. So we're going to form a party. And this is not going to be the party. Sorry.
Our fates are not yet sealed.
Yeah, this is probably going to be it. So here we go. Pagalthan.
Shanbai, Snotheth ang an kin in na.
Together we shall overcome this.
Oh, I've got 2 mages. Okay.
You underestimate me! Okay. Guys, I'm trying to keep running. Stop peeling them off of me. What is a kobold doing here? On guard! You underestimate me!
Oh, thank you, friend. Kobold friend. This is interesting. Oh, there's the tower over there.
This is going to leave a mark! You underestimate me!
I shall protect thee.
I will not hold back!
Let's give them a show!
I will not hold back!
Are we still staying here? Okay, he did. Oh. Ooh, this is a fancy treasure coffer.
What took you so long? The Amalta are in trouble. Let's split up.
Okay.
Thank you, Tiamat. Love you. Baymarek?
Be gone! I shall protect thee.
Sir, I think you're gonna die pretty quickly.
Oh, no, you don't.
Friendly direct? Nope, not friendly. These are big, beefy treasure chests, dude. Oh, another boss. Just this hot heat. Oh, shit. Over here, over here, over here, over here, over here.
I shall protect thee.
I made bad decisions. Over here.
This is going to leave a mark. This is going to leave a mark. This is going to leave a mark. I will not hold back.
Okay. That was hectic. Like, not difficult, but hectic. Oh, look at this.
Call on King Ar. Wei Weslesh. On in on King.
Interesting. Oh, this is weird. What did you just say? Oh, Riage is complaining.
I will not hold back.
I can't. Teletherium. Interesting. Is Tiamat okay? I hope oh, there's treasure coffer here.
I shall protect thee.
I will not hold back.
I completely avoided that. I don't know what you're talking about.
This is going to leave a mark.
Oh. Ah. Oh, come on. I legitimately didn't see that there weren't places that wouldn't get hit by that.
I will not hold back.
Didn't do very well with that one.
On guard.
Shit.
There'll be nothing left of you but a smoking crater.
I'm real good at these, man. I tell you what. On Steam, get out here.
Gloves are off.
Yeah. Thank you for your help, Tiamat. Where's Alphino? I must have got that last night. Okay, let's have some lore.
Kin so Esk Snodo in Aisto
Children of man, the shade of my beloved is no more, and I shall be forever in your debt.
Antal an in Eistor. Antal afa snalask ein. Ash an dran mira
By your deeds are we set free, and free we shall remain as long as I draw breath. Never again shall the dragons of Mericidia hearken to the lies of the Asians. This I vow.
Noble warriors, the dragons chose their friends well. Long have our peoples waged war, but no more. Your fallen lie beside our own. By our words and deeds shall we honor their sacrifice.
We would be proud to call you our allies.
The enemy of our enemy is our friend. And you have proven yourselves worthy of our trust. It is the Garleans who are deserving of our fury.
Pretty much, yeah.
I shall see that my brethren learn the truth of this day, and rally as many as possible to the cause, till we meet again.
And thus did we make allies of the Amalja.
It would certainly seem that way. The Sultana will be pleased. Let's go and give her the good news, shall we?
But what of Vestinian? Sometime earlier, inside the Pagalthan Tower. Oh no!
What in Ralga's name happened here?
The gods only know. But you can bet these poor sods aren't here by choice.
Quickly! We've got to get them free!
Get back!
No! What have I done?
It's too late for them! We're leaving, now!
Ehrenwald, I swear to God, if you stay here and die.
No! No! Don't you dare! We came together and we're leaving together!
Oh my God. To see the Amalja fighting alongside us brought to mind the Zun of the Crystarium. I pray that our peoples can forge bonds as strong as those of our counterparts in the First. From what I could tell, there didn't seem to be many Imperials in the vicinity of the tower. Hopefully Ehrenwald will have used the opportunity to get in and out undetected. Though the day is won, thanks in no small part to thy valour, the Toloforoi are far from defeated. Yet be that as it may, 'tis only right that we rejoice in Luna Bahamut's banishment unto the ether. It will take more than a single victory to wash away all the bad blood between men and Amalja, but one has to start somewhere. Tiamat did all she promised and more this day, but I doubt she will be satisfied. Nay, she will fight on in defense of her children, wheresoever they may be. While it would be too much to hope that we have seen the last of Fandaniel, we have dealt his schemes a telling blow this day, and that alone is cause to celebrate. And celebrate I will, when we have received word of Ehrenwald's safe return. And we better receive word of Ehrenwald's safe return, game. Okay, and now I can do Pagalthan and a trust. So I have one more quest. When the dust settles, because that was Flames of War, yes. This is the last quest in 5.5, and then there are 3 quests in 5.55. When the dust settles, Alphino is minded to share his account of the events that unfolded in Pagalthan with the Sultana. Oh, I didn't even see a Stinian there. Standing around here worrying is not going to help matters. Come, we must discuss the day's events with Pippin and her grace. Brave scions! Okay. Would that I could treat you to a hero's welcome, but I bear urgent news from the frontistery. Your Grace, whatever is the matter? As our troops withdrew from Pagalthan, they came upon the 2 scouts sent to the nearby tower. I have yet to hear a full account, but it seems that one of them, your friend I believe, had been wounded and was being dragged away by the other. Oh no. I must go. Forgive me, Your Grace. Can you tell us aught of Ehrenwald's condition, Your Grace? The wounded scout. Naught save that it is grave. The Kyrugians tend to him even as we speak. The infirmary must be inundated with the wounded. If all of us go, we'll only get underfoot. Rando, Estinian, would you mind going after Alphino? He may need some support. From someone other than me. Very well. Thank you. The rest of us will see that the relevant people know what took place in Pagalthan. I swear to God, game. Come on, then. I don't know where the frontistery is. Huh? Here, let me get to the crystal, and then since it's on the map, I can see it on the map. It is near the Alchemist's Guild. Yep, wrong way. Oh, Stinian. Always leaning around. I take it Alphino's fond of Ironvold. I know how he feels, but hand-wringing isn't going to help anyone. You had better have a word. Instead of standing there gawping, why don't you tell your friend to stop whining like an underfed dog? People are fighting for their lives in there. Please, tell me something. Anything. Alphino, chill the F out, please. Another one come to see the lad in the silver armor. Master Damiello is attending him as we speak. If you would be so kind as to wait. What did Master Damiello say? Tell me his exact words. I mean, enough, Alphino. This isn't helping. But you're right. Forgive me. When we said our farewells to Ehrenwald, I was afraid that something like this might happen. But now that it has, all we can do is wait.
Fordola, have you been waiting here all this time?
We have done what we can. The rest is up to him.
May we see him?
I do not think that wise. You must let him sleep.
Thank you for bringing him back. He owes you his life. I just wish I had been there. Perhaps, I don't know, perhaps I could have...
Could have what? Got tempered? Don't flatter yourself. You can't save everyone. No one can. Not even the warrior of bloody light. People die all the time, for no good reason. And those who take up the sword die quicker than most. If you're going to shed a tear every time a soldier falls on the battlefield, you'd best stay away. It's no place for the weak of heart.
It may be that victory cannot be won without cost. But all life is precious, and I refuse to shrug at its loss.
All life is precious! Oh, you need to grow up, little man. Before your sparkling ideals get everyone killed.
You're right. He is idealistic. But the world has more than its fair share of realists, like you and me. It's people like him who dare to dream that things could be better, and make it happen against all the odds. They are the ones whose names live on forever. The heroes.
The battlefield's littered with would-be heroes. At this rate, you lot'll be next. And what'll become of your precious dreams then? They'll be gone. Like dust on the wind.
God, she's so angry and so sad. And so lonely. I wish she would let somebody in.
Dreams worth fighting for don't die so easily.
Sorry, I'm just gonna pop over here and I'm just gonna check something over here for just a second, Alfie. I'll be right back. That woman, she plays at scorn, but her eyes are filled with sorrow. Sorrow deep enough to drown in. That's what I just said. She's so angry, mostly at herself, and so sad and so alone. And she tries to put up this front, but it's spread so thin it's almost transparent. I know there's nothing more I can do here. Come, let us rejoin the others.
Her Grace invites the Scions of the Seventh Dawn to join her in the fragrant chamber. Your comrades have already arrived. Will the three of you be joining them? We will.
Stinian, you should give him a hug. He kind of needs that right now. But not in your armor. That would be dangerous.
Your Grace, pray forgive us our lateness.
Think not of that. I understand a close comrade of yours was wounded in the line of duty. Arenvold.
You're the one who came and told us that? I thought it was pretty... I guess the details weren't said, but...
It was at the Alliance's behest that he risked all, and we are grieved to hear of his condition. Rest assured, he will receive the finest care our chirurgeons can provide. On that you have my word. Now, we would share with you the findings of the mission. Pippin, pray relate to our guests the details of Fordola's account.
I wonder if there were any backslashes.
First Bahamut, now Ifrit. Or Lunar Ifrit, as Fan Daniel would doubtless have it.
'Tis now all but certain that the towers were conceived to facilitate the summoning of primals by those imprisoned within. Less certain is the means by which the Telophoroi constrain the wills of said entities to enact their designs in defiance of the pleas of their victims.
Mayhap they do not. If mere proximity to the towers is enough to make loyal servants of the Empire's mortal enemies, it stands to reason that the same is true for those held captive. They invoke their gods for the good of Garlemald, and in their disturbed state of mind, summon a primal whose form reflects their own alteration.
It all begins to make sense. Upon closer inspection, I realized that the towers bear a striking resemblance to a much larger structure which Urianger and I observed from afar during our visit to the Imperial capital. Assuming it too is capable of tempering those in its immediate vicinity, it would go some way to explain the swiftness with which the Telophoroi managed to rally so many Imperials to their cause.
While the situation in Garlemald is indeed troubling, I fear we have more immediate concerns. Ifrit was not the only primal summoned. At approximately the same time, observers at several other towers bore witness to the emergence of further such entities. For a blessing, none appear to wield aught approaching the destructive power of Bahamut, and the Grand Companies are moving to deal with the threat even as we speak. Though we are aware that the task will not be easy, we would call upon the Scions only as a last resort. Pray, conserve your strength for now. After all, it was not so very long ago that you rid us of Bahamut. On which note, I am pleased to report that our talks with the Amalja have reached an agreeable conclusion. They have pledged their full support to our cause. It is our hope that this historic agreement will encourage other tribes to join us at the negotiating table. And I know that I speak for all of the Allied leaders when I say that we will welcome them with open arms at such time as they do. Of course, this was only made possible by the feats of heroism performed at Paglfan. Moreover, we shall not allow the sacrifices of those fallen in battle to have been made in vain. As hope leads to victory, shall victory lead to a new dawn for Eorzea.
May these words ever be our guide, Your Grace.
Now, if you will forgive me, I must consult with the Syndicate on the matter of our new allies' integration. Till next we meet, my friends, I bid you safe travels and blessed respite.
Estinian gonna Estinian and just lean on something in the background. It's time to talk to all our friends. Amidst this great push for peace with the beast tribes, we would do well to remember that old prejudices yet remain. It is a delicate political dance, and I do not envy the Sultana her task, or any alliance leader. If there is no reason to linger, I will take my leave. Alphino knows only too well that sacrifices are an unavoidable part of conflict. But knowing something does not change how one feels about her. You yourself have shared adventures with Erenvold, have you not? Then I shall say no more. Can we stop talking like Erenvold died, please? Thank you. With the secrets of the towers thus laid bare, our duty to prevent further abductions taketh on new import. Fail in this, and our enemies shall punish our negligence with a plague of primals. Even without the threat of tempering to contend with, the Grand Companies have quite a task on their hands. Regardless of Her Grace's protestations to the contrary, it may be best to dispatch a few of our own to assist in the endeavor. Remind me to mention it to Tataru, would you? Though we have won our first battle against the Toloforoi, and made significant discoveries to boot, the war has scarcely begun. We must steel ourselves for what lies ahead. Right then. Unless anyone has any objections, I think it's about time we return to the Rising Stones. Alphino will stay here, of course. And that includes you, Alphino. Erenvold is in good hands here. Of course. He would doubtless mock me for pacing about the infirmary. Let us retire, then, that we might regain our strength and readiness for the coming challenges. If all are in agreement, then I shall let Kryl know to expect us. A hot bath and a hearty meal shouldn't be beyond arranging with the time available. It will be good to be home. I have some thinking to do. Yes, I'll try asking him. And thank you, I shall look forward to it. Our comrades eagerly await our return, and Kryl in particular has a few matters she is keen to discuss, one of which concerns you, Estinian, believe it or not. You will join us, won't you? Fine. Really? Really? I thought you said you were avoiding that Baldessian woman. If I refused, she would only pursue me. Let's get this over with, shall we?
Yeah, all of the patches seem to like start and end like at the Rising Stones. So, oh, it's only 121 from here. It was 140 something from home. So yeah. Almost done with 5.5. Here we are in beautiful downtown Revenant's Toll. Oh, I am oh. We'll talk about that later.
Welcome back. I expect you must all be exhausted. Ere you take your rest, however, I would beg a moment of your time. Thanks to Arenvold's selfless efforts, we may now be confident that we understand the function of the towers. But many questions remain regarding the reason for the summonings, and what lurks behind the looming edifice in Garlemald. Until such questions are answered, we will struggle to devise an effective strategy for thwarting the Telophoroi's stated aim. Nothing less than the destruction of this star. And so...
"'Tis possible the ancient knowledge preserved within our archives may hide a clue to our enemy's methods. But given Sharlayan's established policy of non-intervention, our former colleagues are not like to aid us in its discovery."
I can't.
Oh, I well remember what they're like. The Forum's barefaced refusal to assist you in the days prior to the calamity must rank as Sharlayan's most shameful act since the Exodus. But were the final days to be reenacted, it would spell doom for us all. Surely even they cannot turn a blind eye to that. I trust we are all of the same mind on this matter.
Sorry.
Urgent as it seemed, I took the liberty of petitioning the Alliance for leave to act as Eorzea's emissary, and have since received their blessing.
I presume your role as a student of Baldessian will carry some weight with the Forum?
One can but hope. If truth be told, our organization has been a shadow of its former self ever since the disappearance of the Isle of Val. But the name does still retain some degree of prestige. I only pray it will be enough. If there are no objections, I shall depart for Sharlayan at once. But before I do, I should also mention the other matter to which I would devote some time during my stay. After hearing what transpired in the first, I began to question the true nature of Hydaelyn's blessing. A topic I have discussed at some length with Y'shtola.
We were wondering, when was the last time Hydaelyn spoke to you directly?
1.0 or 2.0? Did she speak to me in the Crystarium? Like, I legitimately don't remember.
Is the question truly so vexing? Perhaps you fear I will chastise you for giving the wrong answer. Or was it so long ago that you simply can't remember?
It's more that one.
History shows us that Hydaelyn is able to awaken the echo in her chosen, convey her will directly, and grant the blessing of light. To our knowledge, however, she has not sought to intervene in man's affairs for some considerable time.
Might not the explanation for that lie with her choice of champion? Mayhap she is content to trust in his judgment.
Mayhaps she is. But following my initial discussion with Kryl, I made inquiries of my own, and as far as I am able to tell, Hydaelyn has not made her will known to anyone.
During my time in the First, the Oracle of Light spoke to me through Reen. But that was not the will of Hydaelyn. It was Minfilia herself.
Indeed. And while she and Hydaelyn were inextricably linked, Minfilia yet acted of her own volition. A messenger, yes, but one who spoke with her own voice.
I wonder, could Hydaelyn's silence suggest the presence of some disruptive force, perhaps? Some obstacle to communication? While I share Urianger's high opinion of your conduct, I see no reason why she would deny you her guidance altogether. Then again, who am I to say? The fact is, we simply don't know. But if the explanation is to be found anywhere, I can think of worse places to look than the archives of Sharlayan, and their research on the Ethereal Sea in particular. Resolved though I am to go, believe me when I say that I take no pleasure in the thought of leaving you a member short. Now, of all times. Estinian, we stand on the eve of a struggle that will decide the fate of this star. One in which we Scions may play a telling part, yet we are but few in number. And so I must ask you again, will you join us?
You see the world the way you want it to be. I see the world the way it is. You are idealistic to a fault. But I know you would never turn your back on those in need. Never close your eyes to their suffering. And somehow, your deeds lend truth to your words, giving the lie to my doubts in so doing. I have seen others draw strength from your belief. In Ishgard, in Alamigo, you inspired them to stand up and fight. To win, no less. And even when you lost those you held dear, you carried their spirit with you and made their memory your guiding light. The burden of so many hopes and dreams would be too heavy for most to bear. But you bear it willingly, as you have shown me. Some dreams are too important to let go. If you have need of my strength, it's yours. After all you've done, how could I refuse?
And Estinian joins the
Thank you, Estinian. Whatever challenges await us, I shall not falter. You have my word.
Please never smile
And
that way
now,
again.
I may bid you farewell. Safe in the knowledge that all is as it should be. In this little corner of the world, at least.
You will be sorely missed. Tread warily in Sharlayan, and do try not to let the Forum embroil you in their politics. A forlorn hope, I know, given the individuals involved.
I shall do my very best. Farewell.
I was gonna say, I sense a meanwhile coming. Meanwhile, in the Imperial Palace.
Well, does this one meet with your approval? Apparently not. Or could it be that you're still upset about the dragons?
You are unwise to remind me of so costly a failure. It will not affect our plans, I trust.
Oh, hardly at all. Though, admittedly, the chances of us being able to procure any more Mericidian dragons are rather slimmer following Tiamat's reappearance. Oh, but the seeds have been sown, my lord. We have only to wait for them to quicken. Speaking of preparations, is it safe to assume that you will be ready to control you-know-what?
The hour draws nigh. This nation, forged for Ascian ends, will finally prove its worth.
A mighty empire, now no more than an instrument of this star's destruction. What a pleasure it will be to put it to use. Which brings me back to our earlier topic. My lord, while I appreciate that it is not an easy decision, it really is past time you chose your weapon.
There is one that I have been meaning to test.
Well, well, not quite what I was expecting, though I will say, it does seem rather apt.
Why are you in the... Oh, tanking. Interesting. Why? Why is he tanking? Here, allow me real quick here. Actions. Heat of battle. And reduced rates. We're almost out again, but... And here is the end of 5.5. Amidst all the fighting, it's easy to forget what we've achieved, isn't it? I mean, we cured Tiamat. Tiamat, for heaven's sake. You will tell me if I become insufferably smug, won't you? Because the way things are going, it feels like a definite possibility. If I am to pursue this course, I must be prepared for the hardships that lie ahead. If you've need of my lance, I'll be ready. If not, I'll be reserving my strength in preparation for the next battle. But since you're here, I have a question. The Scions are in close contact with the East Aldenar Trading Company of Kugana, yes? I was wondering if they could place an order for some sun-dried squid. I don't seem to be able to find it in these parts. Interesting.
Though we know not the full extent of the Telophoroi's schemes, preventing further abductions must take precedence above all else. For therein lieth the key to depriving our enemy of its most potent weapon. It strikes me as odd that rather than marching on one of the city-states, the Telophoroi have so far made only sporadic attacks. I doubt they'd go to the trouble of putting up all those towers if that was all they had in store for us. The sudden appearance of the towers will surely not have escaped the Forum's notice. I would like to think they would be receptive to Kryle's request for cooperation in investigating the matter, but unfortunately, their reputation would suggest otherwise. None can deny that Hyland's blessing has been a great boon to our cause, but much remains unknown in regard to her true intentions. Given everything we have learned from our encounters with the Ascians, we must keep our minds open to any and all possibilities. Riol, my boy. I've been keeping me good eye on the towers and telling others to do the same. Of course, I don't mean just us Scions. I've got a whole network of scouts to keep me informed. Way to be, Riol. You're the best. I don't care enough about those people to talk to them, I'm sorry. It's mainly this group and Riol. And if Flamine was still here, her, and I realize she's across town, but she's across town. So let's talk to Tataru and finish 5.5. Well, it looks like I'm going to have a busy few moons. Not that they ever seem to be anything but. Thancred's got me dispatching troops to every corner of the realm, which is not to say I don't trust the Alliance, because I do. But when it comes to putting down primals, nobody does it better than us. Excuse me. Well, then you lot more accurately. You won't catch me trading blows with a primal in the near future. But for every fell fiend you vanquish, there's countless meals to arrange, baths to fill, sheets to wash, stores to replenish, and the list goes on. Which is where I come in, and gladly, mind you, it's the least I can do to support the Scions who risk life and limb, like poor Ehrenwald. I wish there was something we could do for him, but we'll just have to settle for saying the odd prayer and keeping a roof over our heads. It wouldn't do to have him come back to a complete shambles, now would it? But that's enough of my rambling. Off you go to get some rest. If there are any developments, I promise you'll be the first to know. And that is level 82. And the end of patch... Ooh, excuse me. The end of patch 5.5. I am probably going to call the stream for tonight. We will probably do 5.55 tomorrow and finish up Shadowbringers. After that, I probably will take a little bit of a break from streaming stuff to try to help my friend get caught up to where I am. And maybe just do some other things, leveling other jobs and stuff so that I'm ready with that. But yeah, so probably tomorrow for 5.55, but again, depends on how I feel, as always. But let's go ahead and go back to here. And so that is going to be it for tonight's stream. I'm just going to take care of some, housekeeping things, maybe play with my friend for a little bit since he's on. And yeah, so I will see you later, everybody.